Sup guys, it's Groovy Dominoes 52 and I just wanted to make an update video to tell you guys that I'm fine, so you don't have to worry about anything anymore. But yeah, in this video I will tell you what happened. Now, this is gonna be like very heavily summarized. So I'll probably like tell the actual full story in another video maybe, but yeah, just keep in mind that there's gonna be a lot of stuff missing. There's a lot of drama and sketchy things going on like behind the scenes, but yeah, in this video we'll just go over the more important details. So anyways, what happened was, I was just working on the pirate ship for the sinking ship game, and then suddenly, like out of nowhere, I just started feeling like very painful stuff in my right lung. Like for every inhale and exhale, it would feel like someone's shooting you with a pistol. The pain was that bad. But anyways, I slept it off and thought that it would just go away the next morning. It didn't, and we were supposed to go to the hospital that day, but it was storming, so we were like, you know what, let's wait just another day and see if it goes away. And then the third day, I was still getting the gunshot feeling in my right lung, and of course it was very hard to breathe because you had that pain for every breath. So then we went to the hospital, and then I tried to explain to the doctor what I was feeling, and apparently I'm not very good at explaining, so the doctor was pretty much confused, and it was almost disregarded, just like how I basically disregarded it for 2 days, thinking it would go away the next day. But good thing the doctor said, you know what, just to make sure, let's do an x-ray. So we did a chest x-ray, and then we got the news that my right lung apparently has collapsed by almost 50%. So it basically like shrunk by almost 50%, which is a lot. Or like completely crumpled up like a paper ball, basically. And then the thing is, actually, like after an hour, from almost 50%, my lung shrink even more to almost 70% or something, which is just crazy to me, because if I waited one more day, then my right lung would have basically been gone. Like it would have been 100% shrink and just like completely like flat. So yeah, out of my expectations, I was rushed to the emergency room, and that was very traumatizing. So basically what happened was the air sacs in my lungs bursted. So when you breathe, instead of having the air going in and then going out when you exhale, it only goes in and then goes out through your chest. And so all that extra air is causing it to push the lung and causing it to collapse, since there's nowhere else to go. And the solution to that is inserting a tube through your chest to suck all that extra air out. So the problem with this is that they have to insert the tube while I'm awake with no anesthesia. Like they put anesthesia but only on the skin where they have to make the cut. But for the tube insertion, they have to like really force that thing in. And they had to keep pushing the tube in, and the tube was like rubbing against my lung and the chest wall. So, that was painful. That was way more than just like a gunshot right there. But yeah, I'm not gonna show any photos or videos because it's graphic, and I don't want to get banned from YouTube just by showing it. But yeah, just imagine a very long tube with this kind of thickness forcefully being inserted between your lungs and your chest wall with no anesthesia. But yeah, the doctor said that it's estimated that I'll probably just have to stay in the hospital for 3 days, somewhere under a week. to let the tube suck out all the air over time. So yeah, I originally didn't need to announce this. Like, I didn't need anyone to know that I'm gonna be in the hospital for a week or something. Because a week of inactivity is basically just what I do anyways. But yeah, anyways, the experience was definitely not fun. For a month straight, you just have like the feeling that you're getting shot in the back every time you breathe. And it's even more painful that for every breath you take, your lung is hitting the tube that's been inserted. And on top of all of that, you can't even laugh and you can't even sneeze. You can't cry because when you cry, you have to sneeze since stuff gets blocked in your nose. And you can't move for a month. So you're basically just like paralyzed in bed. So what about painkillers? Well, not only is the painkillers themselves ironically painful because it's injected through your veins and the liquid is like super viscous or something, but the painkillers didn't even work. We tried different painkillers and none of them really did anything. So, I had to kind of deal with the pain. But anyways, 2 or 3 days later, the doctor said that the air in my lungs from almost 70% went down to 11%. So that was good news. So they basically stopped the machine that sucks out all of the air from my chest just to see it will go back up. And then the next day, my lung collapsed again to 60%, which means that it's gonna take more than 3 days. So they had to turn on the machine again, which again is like super painful. And then a few days later again, they say that my lung is only collapsed by 9% now. So then they tried turning off the machine again, and my lung just won't cooperate. So the next day they say, oh, my lung is collapsing again. Now it's at like 30% or something. So yeah, by that point I already knew that I wasn't coming home anytime soon. So I had to announce something in my community post. And then they told me that because my lung just kept collapsing, the only option was to do surgery on it, where they basically had to cut off like part of my lung. And thankfully, the surgery, they don't do that while I'm awake. They put me to sleep with complete anesthesia, so I wouldn't know anything during the surgery. But yeah, you wake up from surgery later and then you find that you now have 6 things attached to you. Again, I won't show anything because it's graphic, but you have a tube inside where your lungs are, and then you can see the tube sucking out bubbles and blood and yellow stuff. I don't even know. And then you have a needle attached to your spine for the anesthesia. And then you of course have the IV, which is typical, and the breathing mask that gives you oxygen. And then you also have a tube that goes through your pee hole and all the way up to your bladder. Because I'm paralyzed, so I can't exactly stand up, actually like let my pee out. So they have a tube that sucks all the pee out in the bladder. But yeah, after surgery, few more days of course, more pain. But now it's time to remove all of the stuff that's attached to me while I'm, of course, awake. So yeah, they remove the breathing mask, the pee tube thingy, and the needle in the spine, and then wait another 2 days before they actually remove the tube that's sucking all the air out. But then the doctor said that, oh, my lung is collapsing again even after surgery. So yeah, at that point, I was basically giving up. By that point, it was already like 2 weeks of immense pain, and then they tell me my lungs are collapsing again even after surgery. So that means I have to stay, and then they have to do more painful procedures while I'm awake. At that point, I was like, can't I just die instead? So I don't have to experience more of this pain. So yeah, I was supposed to be home already, but my lungs just kept collapsing. So at that point, I told Abby, make an announcement video, since it's been like more than 2 weeks at that point and I haven't really uploaded anything or updated anyone. But yeah, I originally didn't really want to make a video about it. I was like, not much people really need to, know about this, but it just kept getting prolonged, so I wasn't sure like if I was actually gonna go home, so I had to make a video at that point. And then when all hope was lost, the doctor said that the people in the x-ray actually read it wrong. So my lung wasn't collapsing is because they weren't informed that I actually had surgery, so a part of my lung is like gone. So yeah, big relief. My lung is not in fact collapsing again. And then the next morning they tell me again that oh wait, we read it wrong again. My lung is in fact collapsing again, so I have to stay again. And then later at night they tell me again that they read it wrong again, that my lung isn't collapsing. They weren't informed again that I had surgery. That's why there's weird stuff in my lungs. So yeah, they sent the wrong bad news twice. So then they decided, okay, let's wait another 2 days before we actually remove the tube, just to be sure with everything. Alright, so after 2 days, finally, they removed the tube, which again wasn't fun at all. It was just absolutely painful. But then, the next day, my lung has collapsed again by 14%. So yeah, I'm not going home. But then the next day, somehow, it went down from 14% to 11%. So they were like, oh, maybe it's air that got in while they were removing the tube. But yeah, still, I had to stay in the hospital and hope that it doesn't fluctuate or like rise back up again. I can only go home once that actually goes down to 0% and my lungs are like fully expanded. But then the next day, they told me that they read it wrong again. So that 14%, 11% thing was again just the surgery where they had to cut a part of my lung. Now, I don't know why they said like it was 3% and then it became 14% and then 11%. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's going down because my lungs are expanding and pushing out that extra space where the surgery was. So yeah, they gave the wrong news 4 times. But yeah, I still have to stay in the hospital just to make sure that it keeps going down. And in the next 2 days, it kept going down, so they decided, you know what, I think I'm good to go home. So yeah, thankfully, this is actually like the end of all of the wrong bad news, and I did actually go home safely. However, I didn't announce anything yet because I wanted to wait for next week's checkup. The reason why I didn't want to announce it yet when I got home is because I didn't want you guys to be disappointed like I was. Like, how many times I was disappointed, like 7 times, when they kept giving good news followed by really bad news after that. I didn't want to do that to you guys, so I had to wait for the checkup next week to make sure that my lungs are actually like 0% collapse. I didn't want to announce that, hey guys, I'm home already and I'm doing fine. And then next week's checkup, they say that, oh, my lung is collapsing again. I wanted to make sure everything was good first. But yeah, a week later, we had the checkup with the doctor. We had the x-ray. And the x-ray showed that my lung was in fact back to normal. It's now 0% collapse. So yeah, I could finally announce to everyone. So thank God that my lungs are finally resolved. However, I do feel like I'm getting bladder problems now, but I'm not entirely sure on that, so I won't really like get into that. If there's no announcement, it will probably be fine, but yeah, hopefully that's not anything that will get me hospitalized again for another month. So yeah, I'm finally home and my lungs are fine. Now, naturally, there will be a lot of questions like, what happened? What accident did I have? What did I do to make my lungs collapse and had to be hospitalized for a month? Well, the answer is no reason. You know, at this part, I'd say something like to take care of your health, which you should always do, by the way. Keep doing that. But apparently this happened like just for no reason at all. And this can happen to a completely healthy person at random. It's like either like no reason or it's like unknown because there's not enough study for it. But yeah, like my lungs were completely healthy, so it just happened at random. Like I had an x-ray a few months ago, like before all of this collapsing stuff, and it showed that my lungs were like completely healthy and normal, and then suddenly my lungs just collapse like for no reason at all. Because see, normally lungs can collapse because of air pressure, or you get hit in the chest or something, or if you have something like lung disease or tuberculosis or asthma. But the problem is I don't have any of that. I never did any of that. I'm not even athletic, and I didn't do anything other than just sit here and work on the sinking ship game. So yeah, I was diagnosed of primary spontaneous pneumothorax, which states the cause unknown. You know, my lungs just decided one day, like for no reason at all, alright, I'm gonna head out. But yeah, basically in conclusion, that was a whole month of immense pain, which, you know, gives me a new perspective on people with much worse conditions than me. Like, you know, the kid I talked about like over a year ago, Leon Angelo Guterres, who was only 8 years old when I found out about him. But he was basically hospitalized for a while and eventually had to have bone marrow transplant to help him live longer since the medicine couldn't help anymore. And one of the things that was making him happy during that was the bee plushie, which is like absolutely the most, you know, heartwarming thing to me, that the bee plushie would help him through those tough times in the hospital. But yeah, props to the kid, because that kid is like magnitude times stronger than me. Like he's only 8 and he has a worse condition than me, but you know, he's able to push through it. And you know, I'm hoping that I get to meet the kid someday, you know, maybe when Aviela comes visit this year. But yeah, speaking of Aviela, she was there the whole time comforting me in the hospital, so you know, she's a real one. And especially my family and my mom, who never left me in the hospital. You know, they're the reason why I was able to push through with all that pain. But yeah, anyways, I do want to thank everyone for like the kind messages that I've been receiving and all the concerns. Don't worry guys, I've read all of them and I really do appreciate that you guys are there for me. But yeah, not gonna lie, after too many bad news, I thought I wasn't even gonna go home at all. So what now? Well, I could start going back to videos and updates soon. However, because I actually need a few months of recovery time, I'll take things very slowly, and so you won't see videos and updates that often. And I'll probably need to refrain from screaming as well, so I can't scream in my videos, and singing, unfortunately, and you know, barbershop quartets and stuff, I can't do that yet. So yeah, a lot of songs that I planned to release will be delayed, and musical day will probably still be delayed so that I can focus on my health more. But yeah, hopefully things will be back to normal soon after like a few months. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna have to say in this video. Again, thank you everyone for your support. But yeah, I'll take things slow for now. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.